Recognize that tune, and you know it's time for Relics Radio. This is a family-friendly show, so the entire family can join us as we talk metal detecting and relic hunting. You can call into the show at 270-495-0315 or join in the chat and post any comments or questions you might have, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. You're listening to Relics Radio of Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. And you are live on Relics Radio from the foothills of Southern Kentucky and Northern Tennessee along the Cumberland River here in God's country. And I am your host, Digging with Seven.
And I am your co-host, Tennessee Jeff.
Two rednecks with a metal detector.
That's right. And a gold pan. Don't forget about that.
And a gold pan. That's exactly right. That's what me and Jeff have been doing today. We probably worked 5 or 6 hours gold prospecting today, and this will probably be the last radio show that you hear from Relics Radio, because we're going to retire on what gold that we found today. We're going to the Caribbean.
Yep, that's right. So we're going to buy us a big boat and start really treasure hunting. So.
That's right. We didn't get rich, guys. Hate to tell you that, but I don't think that we're the first ones that have ever gold prospected that didn't get rich. But we didn't get rich today. Tell them what happened, Jeff, how everything started out, and then it generally always works that way.
Oh, it does. Well, see, the first pan test pan we panned, it had one color in it, and I thought, man, this is going to work out pretty good. And I'd done bought me a truck, a boat, and I'd paid for my house and everything. And 6 hours later, I think we found one more color, so we got a color apiece. So
they say,
one little flake.
Yeah, they say there's no gold in our area. Now that's not true, but there's not much gold in our area. But it is fun. It was a lot of fun, and we're going to have a great show tonight. Who we got in the chat already, Jeff?
We've got there's Bill Hayes with Mark Hoover's in the house. We got Jason, Bill. I already said Bill. Let's see, we got Ken. There's Nick. There's our Woody Jones. He's in the house. And Ohio Relic Hunter. He was the first one. So.
Well, we're going to have to start giving prizes for the first one to come in. If we'd found more gold today, Bill, we would have sent you a little vial and had a piece of gold in it. But we only found 2. We gave both of those to the landowner, and his boy came out with us. But we had a great time, had a lot of fun and everything. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We've got a great guest, don't we, Jeff?
We sure do. We've got Liz in the house.
Liz Cabralie, Digging Canuck. You know her on YouTube. Welcome to Relics Radio, Liz.
Thank you very much, Seven and Jeff. Thank you.
We've been looking forward to this show, and you live up in Canada, correct?
Yep. I'm about 1 hour west of Buffalo, if that helps anyone put an idea on where I am.
Yeah, and what's your weather like up there right now?
Oh, it's actually very hot, very funny. In the winter it's really cold, but in the summer it gets really hot. They're looking at around high 90s the next couple of days, so it's really hot for us.
Well, you're just about in the same boat that we are. You're going to have to go and do you some gold prospecting, I guess, ain't you?
I'll have to find a local creek.
It is a lot of fun, and it's cool, and it's kind of a change of pace. We're not going to quit relic hunting because that's what we do. But I tell you, summer is rough on us as far as relic hunting, isn't it, Jeff?
It is. It's very hard. I mean, the ground gets hard, and all of our fields grow up with hay, and then we've got crops in. It's just a terrible time for us. But, I mean, we make it do. I mean, we make do with it. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And winter is the best time for us. Of course, y'all get shut down in the winter because you have ground freezes, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much after about the end of November until sometimes end of April. It's unless you go on vacation to a tropical island, that's about it for us.
Yeah. And it's not for us. I mean, that is from about late October or maybe all of October through about May, that April especially. I mean, that's our prime time. And unless you can find some woods, and the ticks bother Jeff a whole lot. No, they don't.
They do. I seen Woody Jones put in her ticks. Yeah. They turn me up pretty good, so they don't bother Seven, but they just swarm to me.
Yeah, and Charlie said chiggers too. We've got a lot of chiggers here, sure do, and I spray down, and I also take a vitamin B complex, and they say that puts off an odor. Of course, I put off an odor anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I don't have too much trouble with it at all. First of all, Liz, one thing that I want to get into and want to say to you, congratulations on your live YouTube stuff. You do an amazing job on that.
Thank you. Sometimes sometimes it's a lot of work, but the end product I think is well worth it.
I'm able to catch you for just a little bit on Sunday morning before church, and generally pop in and say hi to you, and then try to go back and watch some of it. But there's a lot of work goes into it, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and it's funny because when you get on a roll and you're either on the phone with someone or you're just talking about something, it's kind of hard to watch that chat at the same time, and sometimes I do miss some comments, but I always try and do my best.
Yeah, that's what I got Jeff in here for. Jeff. See, I still have trouble keeping up with the chat. So we had Charlie in the house and Barb, and then of course I missed them, and then so I'm sorry about that, guys.
Well, you just
it happens.
You just pop in, and our guys on chat sometimes they ask a question, and but my whoever hosts the show on Spreaker, their chat will lock up after about 300. And so after a little while, I can't see it at all. I don't know anything that's coming in. And so then I depend on Jeff to, fill me in as to what everybody is saying. Well, tell us about your experiences there with live YouTube. Tell us a little bit about you. I'm interested about your setup and everything on that.
Well, when I first did my live stream, my very first one, I did that on my laptop. And there's lots of problems with, I was talking, but the viewers weren't seeing that. And then the messages got all, and there was lag, lots of lag. And then when I actually, after I guess about an hour or so, you can actually watch the broadcast on the replay. And got to tell you, I was very surprised, and I really didn't know how anybody, kept with me and remained watching after I watched it. But I did a lot of other test streams, unlisted streams that nobody could see, and we kind of perfected some things. And my daughter, being who she is, was very helpful, and we perfected it and moved. I actually moved up to using her computer, and it's just been fantastic ever since.
See, that was one problem that I had, and I don't know what program. Are you using OBS Studio to do your live?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
the one I use.
There was a lag with it, and it was virtually impossible to, on earlier versions of OBS, to sync your lips with the sound. And
Yes.
I forget what I got. I got another one, and it was better. But I think OBS is updated now. And you may have had to go. Did you have to go in there and tweak a few things on OBS in order to get it to do that?
Yeah, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like that, and I did so many test streams, like unlisted, of course, because you can on YouTube you can do an unlisted stream so that it's just you, and then you can watch it later and change anything that needs to be changed.
Right.
But we did that. We did that for a couple weeks, and then finally, after tweaking everything, we got our settings, and we've been having a great time ever since.
Well, I'm a technical guy too, and that was one of the first things that I noticed. Everything was seamless on it, and I thought, I don't know what she's using, but she's went to a lot of work. And people don't realize that listen to a show or watch a show, they don't understand how much that goes on behind the scenes, do they?
Yes, I totally agree with that, because YouTube says you're live. They come on, they start chatting with you, and in my case, people always, have the option of phoning, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and to bring a good show to everyone, there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's definitely lots of some money and equipment, cameras, microphones, that sort of thing. But I do believe it's all worth it in the end.
Well, obviously, we believe that because we're foolish enough to keep doing it. And fortunate enough.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, we are fortunate enough to have so many good people in this hobby, in this community. A lot of the people that watch us. There's Madison, Maine. I have talked to her before. I did a shout out back whenever I was doing shout outs on my videos. And I've watched several of her videos, and so glad to have you in here tonight, Madison. Just saw you there. Not that we got Carl with the yard dogs and everybody else. I'm not trying to single anybody out, but I just hadn't seen Madison, Maine in there before. But we appreciate everybody, and I know, Liz, that you appreciate everybody too.
There would be no show without people.
That's right. That's the way we feel, isn't it, Jeff?
Yep, it sure is. And, of course, at the end of the show, I thank everybody for listening and then adding their comments and everyone that calls in. I mean, we do the show for them. So, I mean, that's
exactly
part of it. And on Sunday, what time does your show start?
Sunday morning is Coffee with Liz, and it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. It's I think it's much too early for people on the West Coast, but usually it's those from the East Coast that participate. We just sit down with a coffee or whatever, and we just chat, and we get calls from all over the world. It's just an amazing thing, and it seems to be catching on, and we get more and more every Sunday.
Well, that's the way with us. I mean, we've got our regulars that have been with us since we started, but then we just keep picking up. And Carl, the yard dogs, he said, you just don't like Yankees. Oh, Carl, now you know better than that. But yeah, we keep picking up listeners, and I just appreciate it. There's Deborah Minnick in the house already. I know Jeff has got a question or two he wants to throw your way, and I've talked too much. I'm going to let him talk a little bit.
Well, Liz, we were sitting around. Well, we were talking before the show a little bit, and then I had a couple of questions. How long you'd been metal detecting?
This is my third year. It's not a long time, but I did purchase a metal detector. Oh my goodness, probably going back about maybe 8 years or so. When I retired from the police department, I needed a hobby, so I think I might have paid 200 Canadian dollars for a bounty hunter, and I used that a few times. Went to the beach, a local beach. Did not find too much of anything, and I'm not kidding. So it kind of got put on the back burners. It might have been in the garage for a few years, and then I don't know. 3 years ago, I have absolutely no idea how I stumbled upon Nugget Noggin's videos. I saw him digging, and I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. So I bought another metal detector, and it's been fantastic ever since.
It's an addictive hobby. It is, and it's a great hobby to get into. That's pretty much the way I was. I think I've been doing it like 10 or 11 years now, and then actually I was watching a show on Discovery Channel called Gold Rush. I don't know if you've seen it or not. And I was like, man, that would be pretty neat to do, paying for gold and stuff. And then a buddy of mine, he was like, well, I've got a metal detector if you think you can find someone with metal detector. So I was like, well, I'll try it. And then I found my first flat button, my Colonial flat button with it. And then after that, I was hooked. I mean, I couldn't do anything else but metal detect. And then so.
Yes.
Do you remember, Liz, first thing that you found of significance? Now, we all found a can or something other to start with, but do you remember your first significant find?
Oh, absolutely. I remember it. This was actually I had left some comments on some YouTube channels, and a detecting team from Toronto, which is it's about an hour from here. They invited me to go metal detecting with them. So, I did, and we were out in Niagara region in a farmer's field, and I was finding buttons, which I mean to me I was thrilled, and then I pulled up a coin, and I absolutely had no idea what this coin was, and it turned out to be an 1837 American large cent, and well after that I was just hooked. That was it.
Oh, I bet. That was a great find. So,
my goodness, yes.
What is your best find that you think of, or do you have one now?
My best find. That American large cent is my oldest coin. I have an old pasture that I have found. I don't want to give too many details about the pasture, but I have found most of the articles, mostly relics that I found there are from the 1860s. And I actually found a buckle that I really didn't know too much about, but when I started doing some history, it was a baldric buckle. So it was on the belt, or the belt that goes across your chest to hold up your sword. And I just can't believe. Yeah, that to me is my best find ever. Just the history of the buckle. It's an amazing find. Absolutely amazing find.
It is, I tell you. And I was going to say something. We had a call that came in and dropped out. Woody Jones had called in. And if you call in and we don't answer you, we're not going to jump on top of Liz and recognize that you are on. If you can hear us talking on the phone, you're on, and we'll get to you whenever we can. And I meant to say that here to start the show, because some people, whenever they call in, if we don't have somebody that's answering the phone, I mean, you're just coming up on Skype, and I see when you call, but we have to wait for a break in the conversation before we can get to you. So feel free to call back, Woody, or anybody else that wants to call in. Our number is what, Jeff?
It is 270-495-0315.
And Jeff he did put that in the chat. I tell you what, you were rolling the ball here tonight, son.
Well, I bought all this new equipment just for this podcast. So, I mean, I've got $1 million outfit now. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, Jeff has upgraded everything for tonight's show. He's normally on his phone. He's on Skype tonight and has a new headset, new microphone, and all that stuff. So he's in the big time. I tell you what, we're moving on up. And Woody Jones is calling in again. I'm going to add you to the group, Woody. And but we're going to go to a commercial break, and we will be right back. If you want to keep up with what's going on in the metal detecting world, then you need to be a subscriber to American Digger magazine. Butch and Anita Holcomb are the publishers of the magazine and have won awards for 3 straight years for being the best digger magazine on the market. American Digger magazine is available in both print and digital formats, so no matter where you live in the world, you can enjoy the latest happenings in the hobby. You can get in touch with American Digger magazine by going to americandigger.com or give them a call at 770-362-8671 and be sure and tell them that you heard it on Relics Radio. And I don't know, for some reason we lost Woody's call, dropped out again. I don't know if that's on our end or whether he's got some bad service there. I mean, our Skype is up and running. We've got one telephone with Liz, and then we've got a Skype on with Jeff, so shouldn't be any problem on our end. We haven't been having any problem, but hey, guys, you can call in and post your questions to Liz. Liz, what kind of detector? What's your go-to detector right now?
I just purchased an Equinox 600, and that was after originally I had an AT Pro. Great detector. Now the only reason that I ended up selling that was because I just found that it was unbalanced for me. I mean, I'm not a very big person, and I just found that the coil was kind of heavy after a while of detecting. I'd have to keep switching arms, and when I switch to my left, my swing just really gets terrible. So I ended up getting a Safari, which unbeknownst to me is even heavier than the AT Pro. But then I saw, all the hype and all the commercials, and everybody seemed like they were getting an Equinox. So I waited a couple months, and then I purchased one. And I got to tell you, it's super, super lightweight, and boy, does that ever go deep, really deep. So I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Well, me and Jeff. Garrett ought to give us AT Pros because we both used an AT Pro since they came out, but they are great machines. I've got 2 of them, and I have no intention of getting rid of them because I like the way they find the debris field. Don't you, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I sure do. I mean, that's the best thing about them, and I mean, I have found 95% of my relics with the AT Pro, and I mean, it's been a very good machine. Now, of course, like Seven said, we have the Equinoxes now, and it's going to take me a while. Like, I've had the AT Pro since they come out. Now, if I have the Equinox that long, I may change my mind. But right now, I'm I'm locating the home sites with the AT Pro, and then going with the Equinox and seeing what I can find. But I mean, you can't beat the AT Pro. I love it, and of course, I mean, the new technology's coming out, and then I mean, it's still, I mean, it's always going to come out. So you're always going to have a better detector here and there, and that's what I tell my wife anyway. It's like, well, I've got to have this one for this and this one for that, and she's like, well, what'd you buy that last one for? Oh, that was for that other site that I'm in, and so.
But I agree. The AT Pro, if you've got the 8.5 by 11 coil, it is coil heavy. It really is.
It is.
And
yes.
the sats that we hunt, and I love hunting old colonial sats with an AT Pro. in with the nails before I got the Equinox. I don't know that I'm going to use my AT Pro now, but I do like the way it identifies the debris field of an old house. I think it does a better job than, and I guess you could raise up the non-ferrous volume, the iron volume on the Equinox and do the same thing. Nick has got a question. I can't answer this question, and I don't know if any of us on the air tonight can answer. Does anyone know where we can get some aptX low latency IPX8 sweat-proof, waterproof, Bluetooth 4.2 or greater earbuds for the Equinox? Now say that 3 times.
Oh, man.
And he said the headphones are really hot in this 90-degree weather. I don't know the answer to that, Nick. Do you, Jeff?
I have no idea. I'll just know. I have no idea.
Do you have any idea, Liz?
Well, I just purchased some Micus Stealth headphones to go with my Equinox, but I can definitely see where he says about it being very hot, and with the headphones, the ear, the piece that goes over your ear. But I think he's going to really have a hard time finding something that's going to accommodate that. I really do.
Well, you obviously know more about it than we do because, I was in Looney Tune land just reading the thing,
I was too. I was like, what are you saying, Seven? What is all that?
Hey, Nick, you got to remember, you're talking to 2 rednecks now with a metal detector. And
we don't have earphones.
No, we don't. We don't use earphones, the sites that we hunt. And that's why we went with the 600 instead of the 800. Now, I do know that you can buy you can buy a set of wireless that come with the 800 at Walmart for like $59. And Heath Jones with Treasure Mountain Metal Detecting told me, he said they are exactly the same headphones, come in the same box that the 800 has. And some of the differences between the 600 and 800, because we have, or Heath has, he talked with the actual engineer that designed the circuitry for that machine. The multi-frequency is exactly the same on both machines. You're running all the frequencies at the same time. Now, on the 800, you can individually run each of the 5, where on the 600, you can only individually run the lower 3. But I don't see that as anything that we would ever want to do. And also on the 800, you can notch the tone on different, like you could make a nickel sound like a dime, and like you could with the CTX, you could change the tones and everything. And I had a CTX for about 4 years, and I tried that one time a little bit because Vic Tucker did that with his nickels. He raised his nickels up to where they sounded like dimes. And I decided that's not something I want to do. I want to hear what the signal actually sounds like, So I don't regret buying the 600. It is a great relic machine. Don't you think, Liz?
I absolutely agree. In fact, I kind of, people ask me about coins and that. I get way more excited when I pull a relic out of the ground than I do about coins. It's just, I don't know. It makes me happy.
It does us too. And
sure does.
Don't you think, Jeff, that a relic probably has more personal value than a coin?
Oh, it definitely. I believe so. I believe it does. And then, it was like when I first started, I was like, well, if I find a coin, I'm just going to get rid of the coin. I'll sell it or whatever. But then when I did find a coin, I was like, no, I kind of want to keep it. And then, but relic has more personal value to it than just a coin. You can buy a coin on eBay all the time. So, but I still like the coins.
Definitely.
So, Woody Jones, he had a question. Of course, he said, call keeps dropping. He said, Liz, is there any French and Indian War activity in your area?
Oh my goodness. Less than about 6 miles from where I am, there is have a huge 1812 site. I mean, it's all historical, or it's designated historical, but still, you can go down there and have a look at the stuff. And then also in the east part of our city, there's another historical 1812. They actually had the Battle of Stony Creek there, and there are areas in parks that are not in the designated area that you can metal detect on. I mean, like, the troops marched past. They must have dropped something. So there's that kind of stuff. Lots of history out my way. Only, the battlefields and most of the areas they're all marked designated. So it's not like you can go out into a field and get stuff. But I mean, you make the best with what you can, and that's where research pays dividends.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you about research in just a minute, but I wanted to jump in here real quick because Ken Guthrie said that he got some aptX earbuds at Best Buy for $40. He said they didn't say low latency, but he said they have worked fine for him. Ken, you might put in the chat if you know the model number of those that you bought, where that will give somebody an idea of what you got and how it worked. But yeah, back to the history in your area. It is similar with us because we have Civil War battle places here, and there are battle sites that we cannot get on in and around the Nashville area and Murfreesboro. They're off limits. But the battlefield is wider than what they have designated that. So, if you can get on adjoining land, well, you can do pretty good. And I would say that it's the same up there where you're at, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, it's how much work do you want to do? Do you want to actually go contact all these people? That sort of thing. It all depends. And I know that there are people that do go knock on people's doors in historic areas. And that's how you're gonna be able to dig in those places.
It is. I mean, it takes a lot of work. Do y'all have a lot of old maps?
That's funny. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, but I know that you mentioned, I think, Maprika sometimes, or I hear that mentioned a lot.
Yeah.
And the ability to overlay maps in layers with historical maps, we don't have that here, unfortunately. And I mean, our maps, as far as that we can overlay, I mean, I wish we had that, but unfortunately we don't. We actually have to go, if you want to see these maps, you kind of have to go to the university or in the historical collections and actually look at them. But it would be really nice to be able to layer them and see what was and what is now.
The thing about Maprika, and Jeff will verify this as well, you can take any map that you have, just take a picture of that map, and on a flatbed scanner or anything, bring that into Maprika, and then hit a point on the map that you brought in on the picture, and then on the right side of Maprika, it will bring up a modern map, and you mark a spot that corresponds to that. You may not know where the roads were at the time, but especially if you've got rivers and then creeks that are running into the river, those will change, but they won't change a whole lot over 100 or 200 years. And you can mark those where the reference points, and if you can get about 10 reference points on a map, I guarantee you can walk right to the site. And
wow.
we use USGS maps, and they've got a GPS feature on them where you can get a marker. But I've seen those markers, those GPS markers, be as much as a half a mile off. And you can't work with that. I mean, you just can't work with that. But, and Heath Jones with, you have to go to History Seekers on YouTube. We've had a bunch of questions about Maprika, and Heath is the one that introduced me to it. he did a video on it. And if you're interested in using that mapping function, I highly recommend that you go and watch his YouTube video on Maprika. How you spell that, Jeff?
M-A-P, Rika.
R-I-K-A, I think.
That sounds good.
I put
hit the microphone on your phone and say Maprika, and then it'll pull it up. Actually, it was made for skiers, and like in the mountains, they'd be snow skiing, and that's what it was made for.
It was.
And then so relic hunters got it, and then just started using it for that. And I had no idea until Heath told Seven, and then Seven told me, and then of course I've got a map I've got out of Library of Congress that was the around my area, where my county, it was 1878, and you can go on Maprika and you can mark these spots that was there during that time. And then, like, I've got several home sites around that I know was like 1805 and then 1839 and then stuff like that. And then, of course, you can mark them spots, and then it'll bring like the new roads over the old roads and stuff like that. So, I mean, it is real good. So it's Maprika.
There you go.
Thank you, Barb.
Right on.
And Madison Main said, spelling bee in Southern drawl. That's right. We're Southern boys. We sure are. But it is a great program. And since I've been using it, in fact, it won't be this next Tuesday's video, but it will be the next one. I actually have a USGS map in my introduction to the video, and I pull it up, and I've got 9 sites numbered there, and I've hunted 3 of those 9, and in the consecutive videos, going back a couple of weeks, and then what'll come out Tuesday, and then what'll come out the next Tuesday. So I've still got some more to hit, and I keep waiting on Jeff. I don't want to hunt all of them without him, but and they're not. Hadn't found any colonial sites on those. We're just they're just turn of the century. But you find some stuff.
Well, see, I'm waiting on you to find a good site. Like I'm waiting on you to find a colonial site. Then that's when I'll come up. Yeah.
We were talking.
No, it's been very hard. Of course, I've got he's almost 12 months, and then of course I've been babysitting, and of course we've had a lot of stuff going on around here. But probably about 2 weeks, me and Seven's going to get together, and we're going to start hitting it pretty hard. So
finding those shady spots, that's the key right there. So you're liking your Equinox. Let me ask you a question. Do you watch the numbers much on yours? Or are you more of a tone hunter?
Well, if you were to watch, I think if you were to watch as a beginner with a new unit, you can just go crazy watching all those numbers, because nothing to me has yet to be one solid number on a hit. It's like with the AT Pro. I mean, you get a solid 82, and I know I'm digging a quarter here, a Canadian quarter. It just seems to me, like I said, I don't know if I have my settings correct but it seems to me like I do not just get one solid number on the VDI. So for now, I'm listening for high tones. I don't know.
Well, we hunt by sound all the time. That's kind of surprising, though, because, I look at my numbers, and I don't go by numbers either, because I've dug cut Spanish silver on an AT Pro that was down in around 32 to 34, and, that's in the 4 range, and a lot of people won't dig those. But any repeatable signal that me and Jeff get, we dig. Now, we dig a bunch of junk, too, But
yes.
Any good repeatable signal, and that's what I'm doing with the Equinox. And if it's repeatable it's a non-ferrous something most of the time, or sometimes it'll be a big piece of iron, of course, that's the nature of relic hunting. You're going to dig big iron whenever you relic hunt. But, on a Civil War site, or a War of 1812 site, or a Revolutionary War site, or a colonial site, you're going to find some good relics in that are iron, won't you?
Yes.
And, of course, we had that, that was the contest, well, not contest, comparison against the AT Pro, the Equinox, and the Deus. And I'd got that little piece of brass, and I think it was, 6 or 7 inches deep, and it was ringing up like 6 or 7 on the Equinox. And then, of course, that on the AT Pro, that's a nail or something, or a little piece of iron. And it turned out to be a little piece of brass. And, I mean, that could have been a cuff link. It could have been a button. I mean, anything. So, but, I mean, any repeatable we've been digging. So,
and the interesting thing about that comparison that we did, Liz, is that it showed up. I could hear it with the AT Pro, but it was all iron. It was like a square nail. Just that low grunt was all it was. And with the Deus, he went over it. He couldn't even hear it at first. And then he changed frequencies, and he could hear it, but he said it's probably not a signal that I would dig. And I'm hearing that a lot from people that run Deuses. Maybe Deus owners are learning more about their machine as they compare them with the Equinox. But it's hard to impress me because I started in 1976 with an old White's machine, and I've used just tons of machines. I learned to be a tone hunter whenever I first started digging. And you was talking about a large scent. It took me 30 years to find a large scent. So, you finding that right off was that was something that was really, really special.
Oh, all I remember is that it totally blew my ears off. That was a beautiful, beautiful, strong signal. Really good signal.
Man, how deep was it?
That thing was about 8 inches deep.
Man, that's good.
Hey, guys, phone lines are going to be open again, 270-495-0315. We will take your calls right after this commercial break. If your passion is metal detecting, then you know how much your success is based on the equipment you use. Let my buddy Tim Henderson of Murray Branch Outdoors in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, help you with that. Tim is an authorized dealer of Garrett, XP Deus, Tesoro, and Macro detectors and supplies, and he is now an authorized dealer for Mine Lab. So, if you're looking to get your hands on the new Equinox 600 or 800, then Tim is your guy. Murray Branch Outdoors is not only competitive in their prices, but the service after the sale is second to none. Tim not only sells detectors, he uses them, and so he can answer any questions you might have. Murray Branch Outdoors also deals in used detectors, and he'll take your old detector in on trade when you decide to upgrade. So give Tim of Murray Branch Outdoors a call at 615-948-4611, and be sure and tell him Relics Radio sent you. And again, the phone lines are open, 270-495-0315. Call in and ask Liz any question that you might have. Digging Canuck out of Canada. This is your opportunity to ask her a question. Jeff, you got another question for her?
Well, yes. Well, I'd already done asked that one, her best find. How do you go about researching, like, do you look for old road beds and stuff?
What I actually do is, in my city, I look for obviously the oldest areas in my city, and then I look to see what's there now. And I found this. I think I might have done three videos on. I called it the swamp. I found this beautiful area, and believe it or not, it's in the middle of a subdivision, but it's just the woods, and it's surrounded by a swamp. So it's landlocked, and nobody goes in there. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go in there. So I had a few adventures crossing the swamp, but when I finally got in there, I ended up pulling out my very first suspender clip, but it was like one of the older ones that had the triangular teeth in it. Mm-hmm. Probably, like I'm thinking maybe like early 1800s or so. But that was all because I was looking at the older areas of my town. Now, mind you, I do not live out in the country. I do live in a very large city, but like I was saying earlier, it's about how you go finding areas for the place that you live in. Like, we can't all be blessed living next to Civil War sites, although I personally would absolutely love that. But I'm making the best that I can, and it's usually by researching and old maps. I mean, for my city, you'd be surprised, the areas that are still untouched in a major city, and I've had success that way.
And that's all that you can do. I mean, I wish we lived in a place that had a lot of gold-bearing creeks, but we don't. We don't live in California, and so we got to do what we can do here. And you don't live next to Civil War sites, and so, but you've got a lot of old history there. Like you say, it's just a matter of finding it. Madison, Maine, put a comment in here. I have never heard this, but it really turned a light on for me. Talking about large cents, and she said Southern banks refused to circulate coins that weren't made out of silver or gold. And that's why a large cent is so hard to find in the South. Not so in the North, especially in Ohio. They find them like we find Wheaties. I had never heard that. Had you, Jeff?
No, I've never heard that. But, I mean, it makes sense. And we're always asking why everybody finds more large cents up north than we do down here in the South. And that really makes sense. So.
It does to me, too. I thank you for that, Madison. I had never heard that.
Thank you very much.
It makes a lot of difference. Liz, is that the only large cent that you've ever found, or have you been fortunate enough to add to that collection?
Oh, my goodness. I probably have about 15 to 20 large cents.
There you go, Seven. Ask another question.
You just made me mad right there. Well, it's been good having you on, Liz, and we'll talk to you another time.
Okay, bye.
So, Liz, how hard is it to get permission in Canada?
Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. I think the best way is just, somebody knows somebody. I think is the best way. I mean, I have ads in local newspapers, that sort of thing, but people just, people fancy their lawns here. They don't, they're all well manicured in my, in my city. They don't like the idea of someone coming onto their property and digging a hole.
Imagine that.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough in the city, very tough, but it does get easier with, as you go out into the, into the rural part of town. But for me, it's all been word of mouth. Somebody responds to my ads. Somebody sees, somebody watches my video. Oh, I have this property, that sort of thing. I can't. I know a lot of people go door knocking, but I don't know. I have a serious problem with that.
I'm not good at that, and I never have done it much. I know that we've got, now the town that I live in here, it's a very small town. We've only got about 3,000 people here, and it's a rural community. I know everybody around, and I just pretty well have the run of the county. because I know so many people and they know what I do, and I donate stuff to the museum, and I go to all the schools and speak. So everybody knows that, I'm engaged in history, and I have people call me, and say, you need to come over on my place and see if you can find anything there. So I really don't have a problem getting permissions. It's just locating we just started pulling these old maps into Maprika and stuff, and we just hit them one at a time, and some of them are a bust. You don't find much of anything, and every now and then you find something, and kind of just get lucky. Have you found very much War of 1812? Are you going to make me mad again?
No, I am not going to make you mad whatsoever. No, the answer is no. I have not found any. I don't want to get you mad at me.
No, I was just joking with you about the large cents. It tickles me to death whenever, there is a little bit of jealousy in this hobby, but most of the people that we know, all these guys and gals in the chat, other than Barb getting mad at me if I find an Indian or something, and it's all in jest. Barb is a wonderful person. I've had the opportunity, Jeff and I, to meet her at DIV, but, people are not jealous. I mean, we are truly excited whenever somebody finds a great find, ain't we, Jeff?
Oh, we sure are. And then I see where Madison, she said, I've got about 70 large cents. So, I mean, that's real good. And I mean, that's, anytime Seven makes a great find, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm happy for him, and he's the same way with me. And anybody we hunt with, if we take you to a spot we have and you find a gold coin, well, congratulations. I mean, it's your gold coin, or if you find a Civil War belt buckle, I mean, it's we're all happy.
Congratulations, but you may have an accident before you get out of the field. No, I'm just joking. Goodness gracious, Madison, you have found that many large cents? That's just not right. How does tell you? Sure not. Nick Haas said that he thinks that the Equinox 6-inch coil will be $180. Should help a lot. I agree. Are you impressed, Liz, with the speed of this machine?
I am impressed. I'm impressed with how it can separate targets in the ground. But, I mean, like I said, I only have 3 years under my belt. I wouldn't consider myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I really, really like what I see. I'm really enjoying the detector.
I am too, and if any of you have seen my video that, and I don't know if it came out this Tuesday or last Tuesday, but I think it's probably this Tuesday. I found a war nickel. It was the second war nickel that I found on what will be, I guess, on you'll see in a couple of weeks on site number 1 on that map, and there is a huge square nail that is. It's bigger than a pencil, about twice the size, the diameter of a pencil, laying right on top of that war nickel. And I got a beautiful, I think the signal was a 12, beautiful repeatable signal. And I dug down, and the first thing I saw was this huge rusted square nail. And I thought, man, that really sounded good. And then I always double check my hole, and I pulled it out, and just laying right underneath it, all I had to do is scrape a little bit of dirt off, was a war nickel, and you can see the rust on the, of course it's 35% silver, a war nickel is here in the States, and you can see the rust marks on it, laying right on top of it. I would not have found that with the AT Pro. I don't think I would have found that with a CTX. Have you had some finds that have turned out like that for you, Liz?
You mean like multiple things in a hole?
Yeah, with the Equinox, where you had a lot of iron, but you had a good non-ferrous target that sounded good to you. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Let's see. No.
Okay. Well, you will.
No, I don't think I've had my. I mean, and you know what? Sometimes it's really tough to get out there and go detecting. I mean, life does get in the way, and I don't know. Sometimes, you're just itching to get out, and you make plans, and then it rains or something comes up. I'm just. I know I have to put hours in on the machine, and I'm just hoping that I can get as many hours as I can before the cold weather rolls around.
When will that come there in Canada? Y'all can hunt through November, can't you?
Oh yeah, last year I believe I hunted until I think November 29th was my last dig, but I got to tell you, it was. My fingertips were freezing, absolutely freezing. And I mean, if you can't, when it becomes difficult to pick a coin out of a hole, you know that it's time to pack it in for the year. But end of November usually is about it for me.
I found a picket post that is associated with, and I'm fortunate here where I live. The camp is the 44 woods are a mile from my house, Jeff, probably?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
And
you can walk it.
And the picket post is even closer than that. And I just branched out from that camp, just searching for picket posts that I knew had to be there somewhere. And I found one and found like a 69 round ball and a couple of 3 buck balls and maybe one Colt 44 or something the first day, but it was late in the day whenever I found it. Well, then it started raining, and then it got bitter cold, and then the ground froze. I mean, it got cold, and we don't have that here very often. But I was just dying to get back to that picket post to see if I could find anything else. Mm-hmm. And I went, and sure enough, I mean, it was cold. I bundled up, and it was probably a week later, I guess, and I got a good signal, and I started digging. I couldn't get my shovel in the ground. I mean, I was stomping on it and everything, and so I just laid down a little marker there, and I went to another one, and I finally went to the car to see if I could find anything that I had my lash tool, and I was hitting it with my shovel, but I was tearing the handle, the little rubber thing. I thought, I don't want to do that. I stopped and went home and got a hammer and a chisel, and I chiseled out about 2 bullets in about 2 hours, and I said, that's enough of that. I tell you what, when it gets cold and you can't feel your fingers, it's not fun anymore, is it, Liz?
No, it's there comes a point where it's like, you know what, that's it for the year. That's it.
Yeah. I was wondering why the 44 woods burn up. Lloyd was trying to get all the vines there when it was frozen. And
I'm trying to melt the permafrost on the ground there.
It did get cold this year. I mean, for about a week, and then of course the little creek down here, and we've never been able to walk on ice around here. I'm 42, and I can never remember walking on ice and being safe. And down the little creek here, of course, I call it a little creek. It's more or less a small river. And then it was the ice, I think it was like 5 inches thick. So, I mean,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. So you could go, everybody was out there walking around and then, I mean, enjoying themselves. That's the first time they've ever done it. So, but yeah, it got cold.
Hey guys, somebody call in. 270-495-0315. Let's make sure everything's working here. Give us an opportunity, and gives you an opportunity to talk to Liz. Liz, I've got a 2-part question. What is on your bucket list? What is it that you want to find right now?
Now, I know I'm called Digging Canuck, but what I want on my bucket, or what I have on my bucket list, is not Canadian. I would love to get a Civil War bullet, a 3-ringer, but I'd be very happy to get a Williams cleaner. I don't know why, but the Williams cleaner to me is a very cool bullet. I would absolutely love to dig one out myself one day. Absolutely love to do that.
Well, we can hook her up, can't we, Jeff, if she come down our way?
We sure can. I mean, like
Right
we're lucky to live in the middle of Civil War activity. So,
and I'll tell you something
Wow.
about a Williams cleaner. We don't find a lot of Williams cleaners here. We had the construction site that we worked that we found a ton of those. I'd only found one Williams cleaner before we went to the construction site, and I don't think you had either, had you, Jeff?
no, I hadn't. I mean,
And they didn't like the soldiers didn't like that bullet because it wasn't accurate for one thing, and also they said it would kill your shoulder whenever you shot it because of the recoil on the rifle. So they had a different colored paper on them than your regular 3-ringers, and they had maybe 2 or 3 of those in a cartridge box whenever they got a cartridge box, and they just throw those away or start fires with the gunpowder, campfires and stuff, and you never find one of those shot. They're always just drops. But it is a great bullet, and I think a Colt 44 is one of the prettiest bullets. You know, it's so delicate and has so much form and shape to it. I love finding those. I found 1 million of them, but I still get excited every time that I find one. And I'll tell you something that is hard to believe. I remember the first Civil War bullet that I found and how excited that I was. And I'm just as excited now to find one. That is something that has never got old to me.
Yeah. Well, I can still remember when I found my first musket ball, and this was in the, I mean, like I said, I don't want to give up my site or anything, but in my Victorian pasture, that's where I found my first musket ball, and I was kind of astounded that, why on earth is this, or how could this be here? Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is a big city. Just amazing. Just the weight of a musket ball is just, wow. It's just, I mean, and then this all goes back to that, the history part of this and the fact that I like relics. It's, you try and think what it was like at the time that relic actually fell into the ground or fell onto the ground, who was carrying it, that sort of stuff is just amazing. And I don't know. I just love the historic part of relics. It just, I mean, it's why I do it. And it's, if anyone has seen any of my videos, I get so excited and the smile on my face, and whether or not it's me finding the relic or I get just as happy if somebody I'm hunting with pulls that musket ball out of the ground or bullet or button or whatever. It's just, I enjoy the hobby. I have a lot of fun, and I just regret that I did not find this hobby a lot earlier, and that I've only been doing it for 3 years. I think what did I miss? I don't know. I don't know.
And it's a lot of fun, and the fun of this hobby is that you can go out and you'll attest to this, and you could be having the worst hunt of your life, just not finding absolutely anything. And with one signal, that can change, and you can find the most amazing thing. And so I don't go out with too much expectation anymore. I go out and I say, if I can find one good relic today, then it's been a success. Now, we're lucky that we sometimes come up on sites and we find a lot of stuff. But if I can find one good one, then I'm happy. Bill Hayes said, I know where there's a hillside in Kentucky that I dug a bunch of fired Williams cleaners. And then Barb said, let's go, Bill. And, you guys come down to Kentucky, and me and Jeff will go with you, and we'll dig those Williams cleaners with you
that's
guys.
right. Show us where they're at.
And Liz will join us too.
Absolutely.
Woody Jones asked a good question here. He said, are there any laws in Canada where you have to turn in any truly historical finds?
Not that I'm aware of. Like I said, you cannot dig in historical areas, or anything that is deemed historical. Now, I was a couple weeks ago. I went up. I drove 2 hours north to meet another detectorist. He had found a trade axe from 1575 to 1625, I think it was, 50-year period. And it just so happens that was at the time when the Jesuit, well, Canada's history is not as old as, I guess, your history. But when the Jesuit priests came from France to trade with the Indians. Now, the person that I was with found this trade axe there, and I mean, it's quite historically significant, but there's no laws. He's actually contacted a few museums, and they said, "Oh, we got lots of those. We don't need another one." But I'm sure, and there are laws. If you stumble across human remains, well, that's another thing. But no, relics are, I guess, finders keepers.
Yeah. Well, that's good in a way. And, most of us, if we stumble onto something that we think would be really historically significant, we would contact the right authorities to let them know about that, I don't know. You don't want to get government too much involved in the hobby because, that never turns out well. But, you want to share things as well. So,
So what are we going to do with that payroll box we found? We're still running with that. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to mention that, was I?
No, you wasn't supposed to mention that. I tell you one thing that we are working on, Liz, and if we find it, I guess that we're going to have to do something with it. But years ago, and this is on this ridge that I have mapped out, the landowner knows about it, and most everybody in our county knows about it. But there was an older man that lived in this house, and his son robbed a bank. And the authorities arrested the boy at the house and never found the bank money that he stole. Now, granted, most of it is paper money. In fact, probably all of it is paper money. But that is probably hidden in a jar. And the guy is still in prison. He's in prison down in Louisiana. And the landowner, we went out to a restaurant the other night and eating, and the landowner was there. And he came over and he said, he knows I'm hunting there. And he said, "Have you hit that house any more?" And I said, "No." I said, "I've been working on these other ones." And he said, "Why don't you and I just hop on a plane and go down to Louisiana and just talk to the guy? Maybe his conscience is bothering him, and he'll tell us a general area of where he hit it, how he hit it, and we know it's there somewhere." And but
wow.
If you found that, I don't know what you'd do with a deal like that. Whether you'd call in the authorities on that, it'd make a great story, but. And I don't know that the money would even be any good now, because that's been 40 years ago, I guess, that happened, So,
yeah, it probably wouldn't be. But you know what you'd hear from me?
What?
That right there.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'd just be like, "Hey, Seven, we got to go. I've got."
Oh, you never know in this hobby. Liz, have you ever found any kind of a cache, even just a small cache, and I mean multiple things, coins or what have you, where somebody's buried them in a jar?
I'm quite certain that I did find a cache, but it was a coffee can, and it had the lid on it and then a bag inside, but there was nothing in it. I don't know. I even turned the camera on and I was started to shake, and I really thought it would be a significant find, but nope, nothing inside. Nothing inside the bag that was inside the can. Nothing at all. No, not yet.
And I agree with what Madison put on here. We were just joking. She said stolen money you could not keep, and we wouldn't. We would. Yeah. We would contact, but it's just it's the quest of it. So somebody beat you to that cache, then, I guess.
I think so, because there's no reason why that should have been there. I mean, really, no reason.
Yeah. I've never found one. I have found multiple things in a hole, and I guess the closest that I've come to it this year in the spring, I dug 7 Colt 44s out of the same hole, and I've never done that. But I've never really found a cache or anything. I'd like to. Mm-hmm. That we'd all like to, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And 7, what you look up on the internet, and it'll have a Colt revolver. It's got 7 barrels. 7 chambers in the cylinder.
No, they don't. They've got 6. And
yeah.
I don't know why 7 bullets were in there. Of course, that's what I go by, and I guess it was fate that I found 7 bullets in there. I kept thinking that there might be a cylinder in there, but there wasn't. And I've gone back to that spot several times and hunted around, and even put my big coil on and went back over that. And I got every one of them. I mean, there's not any more in there. Hey, Liz, what haven't you found that you think you should have found already?
Oh my goodness. I have not found a 50-cent piece, 50-cent silver piece. I have not found one of those. I would like to find one of those.
Right.
And there's a lot of Canadians finding Indian head pennies. I have not found one of those, and I would love to find one of those.
I've had a pretty good.
I think that's pretty much it.
And you should have found both of those probably. Matt is gone digging. Whoa, he said, I'm here. Matt.
Hello, Matt.
Matt found something that all of us want to find.
Oh yeah,
and that is a gold coin. And I think him and Barb hooked up this week. I'm anxious to hear about that and how that went. Matt's a great guy. Of course, Barb's a great gal too. And Matt is going to be on Sight and Sound next week. I think maybe next Wednesday night. Josh Kimmel's show, and look forward to hearing that. And I see here that Barb said, had a great day, Matt. Thank you for taking me out. So they did get out. That's great. So you haven't found a $50, and you hadn't found an Indian. Anything else that you think you should have found that you haven't?
No, not really. I've found my share of musket. I love musket balls. I mean, every time one comes up, I'm like thrilled. Lots of horseshoes. Not too. I still get happy when I find them. I don't know. It's just me. But yeah, I don't like to write down, what I haven't found, that sort of thing. Because I'm just happy finding stuff. I know we all, have things that we do want to find, our white whale or whatever they call them.
Right.
But yeah, I told you, I would be thrilled to get a Civil War bullet myself out of the ground. That's really the big prize for me, I think.
Well, it's funny. You were talking about horseshoes. 7 we don't find many oxen shoes, and when we do, it's kind of a special thing. We find all kinds of horseshoes, and it just when we find an oxen shoe, it's kind of something special. So we really like the ox shoes. So
yeah, Mr. Keebler finds lots of those.
He does. Me and Keebs are good friends, and every time I find an oxen shoe, I text him a picture of it, and I've got 6 of those right now. In my whole career, I've got 6 oxen shoes, and he'll find 200 of them a year. I guess he has no idea how many of those that he has found. But yeah, Woody said invite you down. That's we've already done that, Woody. We told her that Liz that whenever she has an opportunity to. If she has an opportunity to come down our way, she's got an open invitation to come, and that's the same with any of you guys. If you're gonna be in Southern Kentucky or Middle Tennessee, give us a little bit of heads up on that, and we'll hook up with you, and we'll see what we can do about it. Madison said that they find oxen shoes every day there. They got an oxen shoe and a large cent in the same hole. Multiple finds. What are you looking at this year? Branching out any more other than the YouTube Live, or adding new features to it? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's sometimes it's difficult to be creative, to think outside the box, and then then you come up with an idea and you're not really sure how people will, if they'll accept the idea, or if it's really something that you want to do to change your channel. That's a real that's a double-edged sword. I know that. I get on most of my videos. I do a what you snacking on, Liz, and people now find or send me stuff in the mail to try. The more bizarre snacks, the better. I'm doing the live streams with the call in. That's a bit different. I don't know where the I don't know what the next thing, or how I could, what I could do any different. I don't know. I don't know. Things might change one day. I don't know, but I'm extremely pleased. With the live streams that I do. I mean, I get people participating in the live. We have a regular person from Russia. I have a regular person from Japan, and we got France covered. Oh my goodness. We have a viewer from Brazil who participates in our chat. And of course all the people over in England, tremendous amount of people from the States. It's, I'm just truly blessed that, people are watching my show for an hour on Sunday morning. We're having coffee and chatting, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just truly feeling blessed. Love it, absolutely love it.
Do us a favor this Sunday. Put a link in to this show where all of those people can come and hear you talk on our show for an hour and a half, and that'll help us, and it'll help you. And, we'd love to have, we're blessed to have the listeners that we do. And we have some overseas listeners that don't get in the chat, but, they, when we run the demographics and everything of our shows, we're able, they go back and listen to the archives, right, Jeff? But we're able to see that those people are listening. And, of course, it's also carried on iHeartRadio. It's also carried on iTunes. And I don't know, there's about 40 or 50 different outlets that pick this show up. I wasn't really aware of that. But,
wow.
Yeah, we've got, and we got a notification here. When was it, Jeff? A couple of weeks ago, that we had got a 5-star rating in the U.S. and also in Britain on our show. Mm-hmm. So,
wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was kind of blown away by that, It's just hard for me to think that people would want to sit and listen to two rednecks with a metal detector talk about metal detecting.
They do. I mean, I think they're listening to people just like themselves. And, you have a presence on YouTube, and they can hear you. They can participate in your chat. They can talk to you. I think it's incredible, and I think that's what people like.
Well, that's what we like. And Gary Heckman just got on. Gary, you're gonna have to go back and listen to the archive on this show. But welcome, brother. Good to have you,
Gary. Good
to have you on tonight. It sure is. Yeah, it just kind of floors me that that we have all the people that we do that follow us. Jeff and I are great friends. we kid one another. We have a good time with one another, and I think we have a good chemistry together. It's kind of hard. We have a real good chemistry on video when we're out hunting or doing our set downs and talking and everything. And we're getting better on the radio, but it's harder to do because, we're not able to. I don't see him because he's an hour and a half away from me, and you're a lot further than that. And it's hard to do a show when you can't see one another. And that's one thing that your YouTube Live, it allows people to see you while you're talking, and of course you can show things that we can't do but it's just a different format. I mean, that's the deal.
Yes. Yes. I'm actually working on when the people call in, trying to get them actually on the screen so people can see them as well. But you asked me earlier what's next, what I would like to change. I think that that is probably one thing, because I mean, let's face it, people like to see themselves on on the TV or whatever, and and everybody else wants to see everybody else. They want to put a face to that voice, right? So yeah, I mean, it's an amazing. YouTube has been amazing. I mean, your show on Spreaker is amazing. It's an incredible community. It really, really is. And
so supportive. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable. And, there are so many people that you're going to meet in your ventures with live YouTube that you're probably never going to get to shake their hand and hunt with them in person. But you have a bond with them, don't you?
Absolutely do. There's the regulars, and then, I mean, when I see a new name, and especially if it's from from somebody that I watch, someone whose videos I watch, I mean, I welcome them to the chat, and oh my goodness, I had Rusty Halo for years. I've been watching her videos, and then one day she came on my chat, and I just almost fell off my chair. I felt like like royalty had just entered the room, because I've been watching her for so long. I just love it. I absolutely love it.
But then go ahead.
It's funny. My wife, she cuts hair for a living, and there was a father and a son come in one day, and of course she was talking, and he asked her name and everything, and then mentioned me metal detecting stuff, and says, "What's his name?" And it's like Jeff, and it's like he goes by Tennessee Jeff, and then the little boy, she said his eyes got real big, and it's like, "You're Tennessee Jeff's wife?" It's like, oh my goodness. And then, of course, I mean, and then she comes back home and tells me this, and I mean, it gives me chill bumps. It was great that this little kid had been watching mine and Lloyd's videos, and it was awesome. And then, of course, his dad's like, yeah, we watch every video that they put out. I mean, it's really great. So. Like, how amazing is that? How amazing is that feeling? I think it's fantastic. I really, really do.
It's humbling. I tell you, it is.
Yes.
And
yes, it is.
We had the opportunity this spring whenever we went to digging in Virginia. Now, we went there last year and weren't as well known, and then this year we were more well known, and we also took our equipment and did a live show there. And a lot of the people here in chat, Barb was there, Matt was there, and some of his guys. Butch Holcomb was there, and, we interviewed those people live and just had a live show there. But it's unbelievable how many people that you're out in the field hunting and somebody would say, well, there's Tennessee Jeff, and come up and want to shake your hand or get a picture made with you, or, there's Digging with Seven. And you just want to, I hope it comes across to those people. I'm just like you, I mean, you may watch our videos and things, but we're just like you. We're just normal people, mm-hmm. And really humbled that, people recognize us and that people like what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. I mean, I just attended my very first, group function, group dig, on the weekend. It was a beach hunt. There were, I think, 200 detectorists there. And, people would just, hey, Liz. And I'm like, I've never met this person before, but they're calling me Liz. And just the way, the way we were communicating, it was like I had known these people for like 20 years. Oh, and by the way, I did meet Nugget Noggin, and I did meet Aqua Jigger. And I just wanted to put that out there that, yes, I did finally meet Nugget and Aqua Jigger, and they were the most down-to-earth people I think I've met in a very long time.
They are. Both of them are. Michael and Bo are both great guys. We had Bo on the show. We've had him as a guest. We haven't had Nugget Noggin yet. He's been busy, and we've not been able to work out a time with him, but we're going to have him on, And by the way, that left side of that cap right there is reserved for Digging with Seven. I'm going to sign that other side.
I actually promised myself I will not wear that cap anymore. I've retired the cap. That will be on display, and I will definitely bring it down. And I think you and Jeff are going to have to fight over the space on the left side of the cap. How's that?
That's okay. Yeah, we can. We'll just put two rednecks with a metal detector over there, then, and you'll know.
Yeah, that'll work. Everybody will know who that is.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right
but
on.
Y'all were talking about Bo and Michael. I've had the opportunity to hunt with both of them, and both of them are great guys. I mean, I really like them. And, I mean, down to earth. I mean, of course, Michael, he's a little shy at first, but once you get to know him, I mean, he opens up, and, I mean, a really great guy. And so, of course, he works for Garrett now, and then, of course, they got a good employee. So, I mean, he's a really great guy.
Yeah, I was thinking both of those are Garrett guys, and then here Liz goes up there with Equinox. It all worked out though, and
absolutely.
And Liz gave Michael a coffee cup, didn't you?
I did. I gave him a Digging Canuck coffee mug, and this just goes back to how genuine he is. I gave him the cup. And the first thing that he said was, he started looking like in his backpack and on his person. And he said, I don't have anything to give you. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you just signed my hat. Like, you gave me your autograph kind of thing. And it was just, yeah. So I hope that he is now drinking his morning coffee in a Digging Canuck mug.
I'm sure that he is. He was at was it at a digging in Virginia where the shooting range, Jeff, where he got into that hillside? And
my goodness, you could tell. Of course, we hunted the shooting range for 30, 40 minutes, and I found maybe 50 bullets, something like that. But it was Nugget Noggin and Kurt Hollowfield. They sat there, and Michael, he dug, I think it was 150 bullets. He was like a wild man. You could tell.
Wow.
You could tell he was younger. I mean, you could tell he was in good shape because he was going through digging roots up and everything. It was hilarious watching him. He had a great time and dug a lot of bullets.
And he was excited on every wow, another bullet,
Yeah.
And of course, you have that feeling whenever you dig those. Liz,
absolutely.
Before we let you go, tell everybody about your channel, how to get in touch with you, how to find you on YouTube and Facebook and what have you.
Okay. On YouTube, I am Digging Canuck. And if I'm just allowed a few seconds I have a live stream on Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern, and that's called Off the Cuff. And we don't necessarily talk about metal detecting. It's just kind of like a hangout and a chat. People talk, they can call in. You can call in, talk about whatever you want. It's funny how sometimes the conversations kind of drift away. But it's all good. And then on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern, we have Coffee with Liz, and I have coffee. We chat. Phone calls. I usually do a couple giveaways. If I have any mail, I do a live mail call, and then we do a snack, usually from a caller. So that's my live streams, and then I am on Facebook, Digging Canuck. I'm on Instagram, Digging Canuck as well. And then I am on Twitter, also Digging Canuck. So I'm pretty easy to find. I will follow anyone back on any of the social media. And I just wanted to say that I am truly, truly humbled to be with Seven and Jeff tonight, and with all of you that are listening and writing in the chat. Truly, truly humbled. I'm just so very thankful for everyone. I know I keep saying this and I sound like a broken record, but truly blessed to be where I am today. And like I said, Seven and Jeff, thank you so very much for having me as a guest tonight.
Well, you've been a great guest.
You have, and it's our honor. I promise you, it is. It's our honor to have you on our show. You
got anything else, Jeff?
Just thank everybody in the comment section, and thanks for the caller. Well, sorry, Woody, call kept on dropping, but we don't know. Maybe we'll try to get that fixed, but we got your question answered anyway. So, but thanks to everybody in the comment section. We couldn't do it without you. So.
And as Jeff's wife, Jennifer, says, we thank all of our overseas listeners as well. We don't want to forget them that listen, and everybody that listens to the archive. And my chat locked up. I don't know if anybody new came in or not, but anyway, if you guys will hang on the line, I'm going to close the show out, and I'll be back with y'all in just a second. But if you like podcasts like this, be sure and check out the other shows on Spreaker. There's Beyond Sight and Sound, Josh Kimmel on Sunday night and Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. On Monday night, American Digger Magazine with Butch Holcomb, Butch and Anita with the American Digger Magazine. It is the Relic Roundup. It's at 9 o'clock on Monday. And also on Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern is All Metal Mode. And then on Tuesday night, we've got History Seekers. That's Heath Jones and Scott Duncan. They're on at 9 o'clock Eastern. And then also on Thursday and Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern, you've got Hardcore Metal Detecting. I listen to all of those shows. And obviously, we are on every Thursday night here, Relics Radio, at 8 o'clock Eastern. So we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate you engaging in the chat. And we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Relics Radio. We really do appreciate it. Be sure and join us live each Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern here on Spreaker. Or you can catch the archive show at Relics Radio on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or iTunes. Please take a minute and hit the like button and be sure and follow us so that you'll get notifications of all of our upcoming broadcasts. You can also find us on YouTube at Digging with Seven or Tennessee Jeff, or you can check us out on our Relics Radio Facebook page. If you'd like to get in touch with us, then send an email to diggingwith7@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you'll join us next Thursday night, and until then, get out there and dig some history.